So recently, there's been some debate about whether to run a 4-4-1-1-1 or 4-3-3-1-1 Echo loadout. Some people are strongly against investing in 4-4-1-1-1, while others are in great support of it. And there's also others who kind of say that it doesn't matter as much. So in this video, I'm going to break down the pros and cons of both builds from a semi-casual player's perspective. After that, I'm going to tell you what I'm personally going to do based on some speculation I have for the future. Let's get right into it. The first thing I want to do is explain the difference between 4-4-1-1-1 and 4-3-3-1-1. It's worth noting that as of this video's release, only Void Thunder, Sun Sinking Eclipse, and Moonlit Clouds have 2 unique 4-cost echoes in their sets, so they're the only sets able to run a 5-piece 4-4-1-1-1. Running a rainbow or 2-piece 4-4-1-1-1 set will generally do a little bit less damage than running a 5-piece 4-4-1-1-1. Alright, let's move on to the next part now. With a 4-3-3-1-1 loadout for DPS characters, you'll generally be running a 4-cost crit rate / crit damage piece, 2 3-cost elemental damage percent pieces, and 2 1-cost attack percent pieces. With a 4-4-1-1-1 loadout, you'll generally be running 1 4-cost crit damage, 1 4-cost crit rate, and 3 1-cost attack percent pieces. Now, why is there such a big debate about this? One of the main benefits of running 4-4-1-1-1 is the ease of farming. Farming a 4-cost for the set you need is pretty easy because in this game, every 4-cost enemy will only drop echoes belonging to one set. The exception being the Bellborn Geoclone, which drops to either the healing set or the energy set. Additionally, the 1-costs are not very difficult to farm either because their main stats can only either be attack percent or HP percent, and getting the correct set isn't too difficult either. What this means is that you only have to get lucky with the 4-cost main stat and substats, and the 1-cost set, main stat, and substats. With 4-3-3-1-1, you again have to get lucky with the 4-cost main stat and substats, but you also have to get lucky with not 1, but 2 of the same damage percent 3-costs belonging to the same set. This can be fairly difficult because of 2 factors. Number 1, every 3-cost echo can drop to one of 2 sets, i.e., the Violet Feathered Heron drops to either Fusion or Electro, while the Rosenshroom drops to either Glacio or Havoc. Number 2, 3-cost echoes have the highest number of possible main stats they can take on. Let's say, for example, you're farming for Havoc damage percent for a Sun Sinking Eclipse, totally not based off real story. Every time you kill a Havoc Dread main, there's 2 set options, Fusion or Havoc. Then on top of this, there's 10 possible main stats that I can take on. This means that there's a 1 in 20, i.e. 5% chance that you get the correct main stat on the correct set. Compare this to farming 4-costs where there's a 1 in 6, i.e. about 17% chance of getting the correct main stat on the correct set. And once you get the correct main stat on the correct set, you're not even done yet. You still have to roll the piece and pray for good substats. If that piece that took you, on average, 20 echoes to farm for rolls no crit, you're out of luck and you have to do all of that again. No! Compare this to farming 4-cost echoes where you can potentially get 3 echoes of the correct set and correct main stat in the time that it takes you to get 1 echo of the correct set and correct main stat for the 3-cost. The main downside of running 4-4-1-1-1 though is that your theoretical damage is lower than if you were to run 4-3-3-1-1, assuming decent substats in both loadouts. I'd like to point out though that theoretical damage is not always attainable because Wuthering Waves is a game that requires decent mechanical skill to play at a higher level, so everyone's mileage will vary. Additionally, characters like Kalcharo will often have their full combo interrupted by boss mechanics that need to be dodged, unlike characters like Encore who can get off most of their damage without having to perform their combo perfectly every time. So there's also some variance there as well. I'm not going to go into the detailed math here because realistically, a casual player like myself probably does not care about it too much. But if you are interested, check out Maygi's video on it. They do a really good job explaining the math and showing it through their graphs. Yeah, check it out. It's a pretty good video. If you've made it this far, I think you can already tell which side I'm kind of leaning towards. For the casual player, it's probably good enough to build your DPS with a 4-4-1-1-1 loadout for now, because it takes less time and has comparable damage to that of a 4-3-3-1-1 loadout. And if you're building an Electro or Havoc DPS, that's even better because you can make use of a 5-piece 4-4-1-1-1 loadout. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build all of my DPSs using a 4-3-3-1-1 loadout. There's a few reasons for this. Number 1, it kind of bothers me that there's like damage potential that I'm missing out on because I'd be choosing the 4-4-1-1-1 route. I'm the kind of person that likes to optimize where I can, so I'll be sticking to 4-3-3-1-1 even if it takes a little longer. Number 2, we're getting 2 morphable echoes where we can choose 2 3-cost echoes that are guaranteed to be on set with the correct elemental damage percent main stat. Most of us hopefully already used the 2 we got before on one of our DPSs, so I'll be using these 2 on my second DPS, Havoc MC. Number 3, I'm speculating that these Morpho Echoes will be again another reward in another future event, meaning that I can use them on my 3rd DPS when it comes time to build them. If they don't give me these Morpho Echoes again, I'll just farm for the 3rd DPS. It's not a huge deal to me. With all that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope that helped you guys understand the differences between 44111 and 43311 so that you can make your own decision about which route you're going to go. Let me know in the comments what you choose. I'm curious to know what all you guys are thinking. I think that's it for this video, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.